Welcome back to Weekly Chew. On this week's show, we'll be showing you how to make barbecue roasted chicken a la Licken. Let's get started. We're going to start by getting our roasting pot ready for the chicken. We'll start by peeling and slicing 2 onions. Then we'll place them in the pot, making a little bed for the chicken to rest on while cooking. This will keep the chicken from burning or sticking to the pot, as well as adding more flavor. Next, we'll peel and slice 2 carrots, and then add them to the bed of veggies.
It seemed like she said possibly, but it's more or less likely.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much sure we're gonna get a student for the summer. So hopefully we get to choose too.
Yeah.
To see the applicant. You should tell Debbie. You should tell them too. We got no use for shy kids.
Chicken pickens will sit on there.
And finally, we'll add 1 stalk of celery. With our veggies ready, we're going to rinse off our chicken
How heavy would you say those are?
and then pat dry them, placing them in the pot.
One chicken.
After you dry them, say?
That's right.
Now we're going to coat our chicken with some olive oil. We're using basil and garlic infused olive oil, but regular olive oil is okay if that's all you have. Make sure you get the oil into every nook and cranny.
We could always drain out this oil. Just use it for flavor.
Then we'll add pepper,
One whole chicken for myself. I could eat half of it one night and leftovers the next.
Do I have this Greek seasoning on there? I think it's not good for chicken.
and then some Greek rub, making sure you coat as much of the chicken as possible.
Put flavor in here too. Flavor out here.
And finally, we'll add about 1 cup of chicken broth.
Give it more flavor for the gravy after. Might just put it all in there. It's already sitting up on that been sitting up in it.
Now we can take our chicken to the barbecue, which has been preheating. We fired up one side of the barbecue and we're going to place our chicken on the other side in indirect heat. and we'll let that cook for a while, checking up on it every once in a while.
Chicken again. Keep it.
Now we can get started on our stuffing. We'll preheat our oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and we'll slice up about 1 loaf of bread.
Turn it on me.
Do you just like doing it in the oven all together? Or
Stuffing?
yeah.
Yeah, I forgot.
You don't like, I mean like, you don't use a toaster or anything
For my.
when you toast off the bread?
Oh no, I just do it in the oven and it'll dry out.
Then we'll place our sliced up bread into the oven to lightly toast, just enough to get some of the moisture out. After a few minutes, we'll mix the pieces around to make sure that they evenly dry out. While we give the bread a few more minutes, we'll start peeling some potatoes. For this recipe, we wanted baked potatoes, but we thought we'd do something a little bit different. So we're going to peel and then slice them in half. After which, we will season.
So what are you gonna do? Like 1 potato per person?
Wow. I could eat 2 potatoes easily.
Which chicken do you have for? Where are you gonna do that?
Chicken? No, let's do these carrots.
Cool. I'm gonna try this.
It'll sit on the pad after that. Huh? It might be a little crispier than others, but hey.
Raw potatoes with some salt.
You're a strange one, Derek Lazarus.
But before we finish off our potatoes, we're going to remove our bread pieces from the oven and set aside to cool down.
There we go. That's good enough.
Now we'll rinse off our potatoes and prepare to season.
I did feel a splash in my hand.
We're going to use some olive oil,
Blend oil. Good blend, got some basil blend.
add some pepper, some salt,
Might seem like a lot.
some barbecue chicken seasoning, paprika, and then we'll mix it all together, making sure to coat all the potatoes evenly. Once they're ready, we'll place them on a pan, cut side down, and then place them in the oven, turning down the heat to 375 degrees. We'll let them cook for about 45 minutes. We'll take this time to go out and take a look at our chicken.
Oh. Cook the whole chicken man? Use like an oven?
With our chicken cooking in the barbecue and our potatoes in the oven, we'll continue with our stuffing. We're going to take 1 stalk of celery and finely dice it.
The sticky bottom there. Cutting board. Over 93.
That was the last one. That was like 70.
What about all the Canadian?
After the celery is done, we'll finely dice 1 small onion.
I'm sure you put all the, just like Canada, you know, you're pretty racist.
A production line. Big enough.
To cook our stuffing, we'll heat our burner to a high heat and add 2 tablespoons of butter to the pan.
With the butter, boys.
Followed by some vegetable oil. We'll give it a few minutes to heat up.
The butter would take the flavor of stuffing.
Once it's ready, we'll add our celery and onions to the pan and fry them up a bit.
Flavor, boys. Pepper.
Then we'll add some pepper, some salt, and about a cup of chicken broth.
Oil.
Then we'll add some poultry seasoning and we'll give it all a stir.
Don't have to make like chewing until.
Go, boys. One more taste.
When it starts to heat up, then you can add your bread pieces. After adding the bread, you may have to add a little bit more butter and chicken broth.
Dab of chicken stock.
You want the stuffing to be moist, but not soggy. But it all comes down to preference. We'll turn down the heat to a medium and let it cook for a few more minutes. Meanwhile, we'll check on our chicken again, which seems to be cooking nicely. Next item on the list is to get our carrots ready. We're using our glazed carrots recipe as we did before because we thought it would go good with this week's recipe. We'll peel several carrots, trim off the ends, and cut them into nice, generous sized pieces.
Good. Last side. Third.
Gonna shoot it with the dessert you on the side?
Yeah, sure. thinking about it, and there's a hole in the sky. You don't know what the hell's about.
Then we'll place our pieces into a pot, fill it with water, and bring it to a boil. About this time, your potatoes should be cooked and ready to come out of the oven. So we'll remove them and set them aside. And to keep the stuffing from cooling down too much, we'll place it in the oven until everything else is ready.
Chicken's almost done.
Once the carrots reach a boil, we'll cook them for about 5 minutes just to soften them up, but not enough that they still have a little bit of crunch to them. We'll go back outside and check the temperature of our chicken. You'll want the temperature to be at least 170 degrees Fahrenheit or 77 degrees Celsius. Our chicken are not quite there, so we'll give them another 5 or 10 minutes. In the meantime, we can start cooking our carrots. We'll place some butter in a pan and wait until the high heat melts the butter. Then we'll add our carrots, some salt, some pepper, a little bit of cinnamon, and about a tablespoon of brown sugar. Now we'll mix it all around. Now it's time to remove our chicken from the barbecue.
See a nice gravy right there.
Look at that. Now that is some tasty looking chicken right there. We'll remove the chicken from the pot and place in a bowl to rest while we strain the veggies from the juices. We'll use the juice we have to make some gravy. To do that, we must first separate the fat from the juice. Since the fat stays separated from the juice, all we have to do is use our spoon and skim the top and remove the fat, like so. When you're done, this is what you should have. To start making our gravy, we need to place some fat into a pot and then add some flour and mix together in order to make what's known as roux.
How much would you say?
While we make our roux, we'll add some chicken broth to the drippings and give our carrots another toss.
Turn on the heat. Apple crisp in there now, too?
Once the roux is heated, we will slowly add our broth dripping mix, a little bit at a time, all the while continuously stirring. The result is a creamy, rich gravy. All you have to do now is plate and serve. And there you have it. Barbecue roasted chicken a la Licken right here on Weekly Chew. Give it a try. Your taste buds will thank you. For complete recipes, log on to www.moquebec.com/weeklychew or visit the Weekly Chew page on Facebook.